Welcome back to another episode of the On Deck Circle podcast. I am your esteemed, brilliant, smart, handsome host, and that's Jason. Jason, welcome to the show. We have our I'm gonna say it's world renowned
Okay.
question of the week, and there's a lot of low hanging fruit this week. I could say, like, which player are you in love with? What did you get your beautiful wife for Valentine's Day? All that stuff. But I'm not going to ask any of those. I'm going to ask you a Super Bowl question.
Okay.
One, did you watch the Super Bowl?
I did.
Good. What was your favorite commercial and your least favorite commercial? Ready, set, play that music, go. All right. This
tough.
was tough.
This one is tough. I got to give you my favorite and my least favorite.
I mean, your least favorite is probably everybody's least favorite. So.
Okay. Well, first off, I thought it was very weird that there was not. You don't see your normal, typical Doritos, Budweiser. They were there, but they weren't way down.
Yeah.
But I honestly, I'm trying to remember a lot of them. I don't know. I felt like a lot of them were just mid. Like there was just nothing that stood out.
Okay.
I can't even give you a favorite.
Okay, that can be an answer.
I don't know if it's my least favorite, but did you see the Heineken was promoting their NA beer?
No.
Yeah. So like we had a little party here. We had a contest going on. Like, and one of the questions was which would show up first, a Heineken commercial or a Budweiser commercial? And sure enough, Heineken came on before Budweiser. No reason that's why I knew that Heineken had an NA beer. And I was like shocked that that Heineken was first, like basically I think the first beer commercial.
Yeah, I think
so there was just weird commercials.
Yeah. They're catering to
what was your favorite and least?
My favorite was the Ben Affleck Dunkin' Donuts one, just because.
Yes, that was the best.
What is funny is I don't know if it was in Malden, which is like this like little area outside of Boston, and it was such a big deal. Everyone was like, Ben Affleck and J-Lo are in Malden at Dunkin' Donuts.
I think that was cool too because the whole Ben Affleck thing was funny,
yes.
And then the cherry on top was J-Lo showing up at the end, like, what are you doing?
Exactly. Everybody loves a J-Lo cameo. It was good. And my least favorite was the Tubi one.
Oh, dude.
Like, my fiance was sitting there and was like, did you do something with the remote? I was like, no, it's a commercial. And then everyone on Twitter is complaining about it. It was like, I get any buzz is good buzz.
Right.
Everyone's just like, fuck Tubi. So
two takeaways I got from the Tubi commercial. One, how many people stream cable now versus having cable? No, I do.
Oh, okay.
Like I don't have cable. I mean, I have YouTube TV, or you know what I mean. I have some version of a streaming application. So for all people that were confused by that ad, was people that stream TV. So for it to be an uproar, that just goes to show you how many people stream cable versus having it. And I agree that was the worst one because everybody what's going on? What's going on? Did the kids have the remote? What's going on? You know what I mean?
You know what's not the worst, Jason?
What's that?
Using Fantrax for all your dynasty needs.
That's right.
Segue.
That's what we call a segue. I like that. Right. So if you're like us and you're playing some dynasty leagues and you need more customizable settings for your fantasy baseball league, then you need to try out Fantrax. Create an account today at fantrax.com/fantasy six-pack and see what you've been missing. I know we talked a little bit last week. I think the biggest takeaway I get from Fantrax is the player pool. It's just unmatched, the player pool, especially when you have like deep dynasty leagues. You can't beat the Fantrax player pool. And I know right now we have a big giveaway going on at Fantasy Six Pack. If you sign up, using that link that I just said, the fantrax.com/fantasy six pack, you're entered to win a membership to Fantasy Six Pack, as well as a signed Vlad Guerrero Jr. jersey. So that's if you move your league. Sorry, you have to move your league or start an account on Fantrax. You get entered into that giveaway. So I mean, that's a great giveaway. I'm surprised Dave's just not trying to jump all over that. Maybe it's Dave's jersey we're giving away. I don't know, but
no, Dave only gives away his balls.
This is true. But aside from Fantrax, you should also head on over to fantasysixpack.net because you can get great access to award-winning advice, rankings, and more that's available at Fantasy Six Pack. We're now offering memberships. That includes a ton of stuff. We got cheat sheets, rankings, the Discord we just got up and running now. Yeah. You can get in there and you can chat with all the likes of other fantasy baseball players as well as the whole staff.
You only want to talk to us.
Yeah, the whole staff is there giving out, we got tons of advice, DFS advice from Dave, if that's your thing. But so if you go ahead and sign up for a membership today, you're going to go to fantasysixpack.net/plans, use promo code F6PMLB, and you're going to get an extra 15% off available, 15% off all our available options there. So go ahead and check that out there at fantasysixpack.net. But I think we're going through these team previews or these position previews, and I think last week we did starting pitchers.
Yep.
So today we're gonna start getting back into the hitters. We're gonna be doing the first base, and we're gonna do the same thing. One guy you're higher on, one guy we're lower on, and one prospect that maybe rising up the ranks or that you have your eye on. We'll keep it going again with the higher options. I got guys we're higher on, and like always, handsomest one goes first. And we're going to talk about your guy.
All right. First off, I do want the listeners to know that Jason and I shared a lunch.
Yes.
And just so he does know that I actually am handsome in person.
Right.
Jason also handsome. It's fine. All right. Back to the task at hand. Look at me. I'm prepared.
Notebooks. We got notes.
There's maybe 15 words written on here. So, as the ticker says, we're going to talk about Josh Bell, who I didn't realize was good. I mean, I knew he was good, but like this year, I'm trying to focus in on OBP just because, just like something I'm trying to really learn more about, as in like different players, how many times they play and stuff like that. And Bell really sticks out. His OBP has been unbelievable for like what I thought he was. I think because he's been on so many different teams recently. It's been the Padres, it's been the Pirates, it's been the Nationals. And people forget in 2019, he hit 37 home runs.
Yep.
Granted, that was 2019. That is a lifetime ago. But then in 2021, because we don't count 2020, Jason, right?
Exactly.
Unless it fits our narrative, and this does not fit my narrative, so it does not count. In 2021, he hit 27. And he's getting on base at an insane clip out of like 350 plus. And it's just something that I think needs to be talked about more. I think him in Cleveland is a perfect fit for him. He's another guy that's going to fall under the radar because he's in Cleveland. So I'm excited about him for the season. I traded for him in 30 Rock a couple weeks ago, maybe. And he's still young. He's currently the 16th first baseman being drafted. And that's, I can't name 15 other first basemen I'd rather have other than my prospect I'm going to talk about later that I would pick before him. At least 50. Like, obviously there's Alonso, there's Vlad, there's these other huge names. But I'm really trying to look at that middle tier, and I think he's someone that you can get late, and he's going to contribute in power, RBI, runs, maybe not runs, but definitely not stolen bases. But I'm excited about him for this season.
Yeah, no, like I said, at that 2019 season, I mean, he should have been he may have even been getting MVP votes. 37 home runs, over 100 RBIs. And you're right, on base. He's had an on base above 340 every year. Obviously, we don't count 2020, like we just said. Since 2018, he's been on base over, above 340 every year. So I mean, and then last year 362. So yeah. One thing I also noticed too is when we were doing these, this first base thing is I feel like first base is becoming shallower and shallower as we go on. It seems to be that position where people go to die or players' careers go to die. They get moved over from catcher or third when they can't make the throws anymore. It's just becoming that position that isn't deep like it used to be in years past. So I think you're right. Hit guys in that middle tier. Josh Bell's one of those guys. I love it.
There's just so many guys that have one category for first base, and he's someone that has multiple, and that's what I am ultimately looking for now. Like there's like Christian Walker.
Right.
Only hits 30 home runs for you, not really going to contribute anywhere else. And I just like how Bell is just like a steady Eddie throughout most of the categories other than stolen base.
Yeah, I agree. Someone that I'm a little bit higher on, I'm going to go ahead and go with Yandy Diaz of the Tampa Bay Rays. I know he mostly qualifies at third base, but he is also eligible at first. And like I said, with first base being so shallow, I was like, I'm not going to save him for third base episode. Let's go ahead and talk about him at first base here. Yeah, I mean, kind of how you were just talking about, most first basemen only give you like, one or two things, and he's kind of in that realm of just one position, and it's the OBP. This guy's an OBP machine. I don't think he gets enough credit for his on base percentage. Tampa Bay Rays don't necessarily score a ton of runs, which kind of shows up for him. I think he hits, near the bottom of the order more, so the runs aren't there. But he doesn't strike out a ton. He's got a career 14% K rate. And I was doing some more, research here. His 401 OBP in 2022 was top among all qualified hitters.
Yeah.
And his 374 OBP is top 15 since 2019. And that's just all hitters. So, I mean, you're talking about a top 15 hitter on base since 2019. Again, not going to get a ton of power. He he might get like 10 home runs out of him.
He's so strong.
He's so strong. You would think that he'd get those home runs, but I mean, the counting stats are there. He gets, RBIs and runs. He's had over 100 plus RBIs plus runs the last 2 years. I think it's almost exactly at 120 in both last 2 years. So not going to get 100 out of each, but, combined it's 100, which isn't, again, he's not the top 10, first baseman, but for someone that's, bottom tier, lower tier, it may not cost you a ton of as a dynasty asset. I think, it's a great lower tier piece, and all his advanced metrics rank in the top 5% of the league as well. So just someone that I don't think gets enough credit, and someone that I'm higher on when it comes to first base. He should continue to get that first base work, I guess, unless Manzardo comes up. But Tampa Bay, man, they like to work those lineups. He's going to get that first base eligibility, I'm sure, for at least the next year. I mean, I think he just doesn't get enough credit.
To quote Billy Beane in Moneyball, he gets on base.
Exactly. Does he get on base? Yeah.
Yes. Kevin Youkilis.
Yeah.
The Greek god of walks.
All right, let's get into our guys that we are lower on. And your guys, go ahead.
Yeah, so we talked about this pre-show. I kind of cheated here, which is fine.
I mean, I did the same, so.
But Yandy's like, whatever. Jake Cronenworth, great baseball player. Would love to have him on my team. I would love to have him in any position, really. He's multi-position guy. I think in some leagues he's probably got short somewhere. I don't know. He's got a few. Yeah. So I think most is second, short, and first. He might have an outfield. I'm not entirely sure. Depends on like your qualifications and everything.
Right.
He's not, I don't want to say he's bad, but he's the 14th ranked first baseman, according to, I think it was RotoWire. And I'm just comparing him to Josh Bell for this exercise. And I would much rather Josh Bell as my first baseman. But on my team, I would love Jake Cronenworth, but not as like my everyday first baseman. He doesn't help me in enough categories in a position that like I want to depend on home runs. He's never eclipsed more than 21 home runs. I wish I could have said 20, but he hit 21 a couple of years ago. And he's not like he's like a solid OBP guy, like 320, 330, nothing like amazing. He actually had one. He doesn't steal bases. He's just like someone that you need to fill in, which is fine. But he's just not someone that I'm targeting personally. Maybe a couple of years ago when like the name was hotter. But now that Padres lineup's so stacked, you like don't even think about Jake Cronenworth. You're like, oh, okay. Like, but
yeah.
The lineup's great, so that is something like that is a positive for him. I just don't like him as the 14th first baseman.
Yeah, I think Lisa just said the San Diego lineup's so stacked. I think he's almost be resorting to like utility role,
Exactly.
based on off of his eligibility, obviously. But yeah, we've even seen the strikeout rate slightly increase over the years too. So he could be getting a little bit more exposure to pitching. Figuring him out. His OPS is barely over 700 last year. Just somebody that he's better off put in as a different position if you even want to play him. I don't even know. Second base is so bad you could probably put him there, but
he's just like a plug and like a matchup dependent. If like if Pete Alonso is not playing today, you have Jake Cronenworth, you throw him in. He's just
exactly
like a number 2, which is fine. Everyone needs a number 2, but like he's just not my guy.
Yeah, no, I agree. Especially for, like I said, the 14th first baseman. That's not it's not very exciting.
No.
All right, we're gonna jump over here to my guy. Big boy, Rowdy Tellez. I might get some heat for this. I know a lot of people love this guy, but he's just one of those big mashers, right? He's like Daniel Vogelbach's long lost brother. In his first full season last year, the results were there. He did have the 30 home runs, but there was just a lot of things that had me concerned going forward. Can he repeat that 30 home run season? For one, the ground ball rate was basically right around 40%. When you look at that ground ball rate versus the 30 home run hitters, it was the 8th highest among all hitters. So, I mean, he's either grounding out or hitting a home run, basically. Doesn't hit for a high average, hits and hovers right around that 200 range, which is obviously not ideal. Doesn't get on base a ton. His 306 OBP last year and his 767 OPS last year were basically the worst amongst all the hitters that hit 30 home runs. So basically, you're just getting home runs is all you're getting. Basically, you're turning into Adam Dunn over here. Three true outcome hitter. Walks, strikeouts, and home runs. Again, if you're looking for somebody way down the list, he could be that guy. But I think he's starting to, after that last year of 2022, he's catapulting up lists for far as first baseman goes.
I just Googled Vogelbach instead of Rowdy Tellez.
But I mean, he's super pull heavy. He just that big left-handed hitter that just pulls home runs with the power. Like I said, he can hit the home runs, but he's not going to help you in any other way. And for that reason, I'm just lower on him than most other people are.
He's 19th for the consensus on fantasy.
Yeah, I'd like to see him again repeat it. What's that?
He's only 27. That's kind of crazy.
Yeah, he was an
older guy.
Yeah, he was kind of stuck behind people in Toronto, and now with Milwaukee, he's getting that playing time. So I want to see him do more than one season.
Yep.
Before we can, basically not rule him out, but make him deserve that.
That Brewers so bold. Like other than like the pitchers, like who are great, but like that lineup is disgusting.
Hey, there's even a viewer that agrees with me here. So
rather have Vinny. Yeah. I would also rather Vinny Brooks.
I agree. The Italian breakfast, man.
Can you explain that nickname?
I don't know. I've heard it as nickname. I don't know why. I'm assuming he likes breakfast food and he's Italian, so they've combined the two.
You want to call me that? I like breakfast food and I'm Italian.
Yeah. Do you want to don the Italian breakfast nickname? Maybe he eats breakfast for every meal.
That'd be cool, actually. Can I change my thing? I can't.
Yeah. Or your name?
Yeah.
Next week I'll have a surprise for you.
Breakfast Nick.
So I know we talked about, I think a couple episodes ago, we reached out to Triston Casas's people.
Yeah.
He was supposed to show up.
He
didn't. We've, been sending him some emails, some follow-up emails. He's still avoiding us, but I did hear, I believe next week he may be on the show. So, but until then,
we can't say he's not.
Right. As far as I know, as far as we know, he's coming on next week for an interview. So, yeah. Why don't you go and tell us about, why we should be interested in Triston Casas?
This was the easiest layup of all time. I almost took this as my first baseman, and then I was like, I can't be that guy. But Casas, man, I am just – the Red Sox don't give me a lot of things to be excited about this season. I do think they're going to be better than people expect. but like it's not it.
Yeah.
But another guy, he gets on base. Like it's all he does. He's done it at every single level. He did it last year, and I think the power is going to come. He hit maybe 5 home runs last year or 4, but each one were like bombs. And I think just with more discipline and like not more discipline, more like opportunity, because the team stinks. Bobby Dahlbeck might be the worst player I've ever seen, like plate approach wise. And Casas is, I'm not going to say Joey Votto, but he's got an eye like Joey Votto. And I think we could have like a true like 370, 380 OBP guy. And that's something that really excites me, especially. I don't know where Devers is going to be in this lineup, but Devers is in there. We've got the Japanese guy who gets on base. And I think we could see like a breakout huge year from Casas just to make me happy.
Yeah.
But I mean, for him.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the points you made are all valid. I mean, even last year, I mean, across the 3 levels, he hit, 17 home runs. Yeah. And even when he came up and had that cup of coffee, he was not overwhelmed. I know it's a small sample, but the K rate was still 24%, but that's not to be expected. It's nothing unordinary to expect from a rookie. He also walked 20% of the time.
Yeah.
He basically, his ISO was over 200, which is a very good indicator. Yeah, obviously the batting average wasn't there, but I mean that's to be expected when rookies don't come up and hit 300 unless you're like Julio Rodriguez. You know what I mean? Like this doesn't happen often where guys can come up and hit near 300. So I think like you said the breakout is definitely there coming for 2023. And I think like I just said earlier how we first base is getting so shallow. I think this is the type of guy that can bring some more depth to that position as he only 23-year-old still, so. He could be around for a while.
He's so young, and it's so funny because, like, since Heim's been here, it's been like
awful.
Oh, the kids. But like Dombo drafted Triston Casas. And it was always just like, oh, like this like big guy. Like the first real class and like prospect is gonna be Mayer, which is fine. But Casas, he's got a mustache now. I don't know how much. I don't know. You don't probably have a lot of Red Sox Twitter unless you see me like retweeting stuff. He lays on the ground shirtless before games, so he becomes centered with the field.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just like some weird stuff, and I'm totally into it.
Well, you had me at the mustache and then lost me at the being centered, laying down on the
Yeah, just walks around the field barefoot.
Okay, so he's in tune with the field.
Yeah, and he just
hopefully it brings some more home runs as well as that higher average for 2023.
Yeah, we'll see.
Well, I feel like I felt left out the last couple of times of your prospects. You've been bringing up a bunch of first year player drafts. So I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna let Nick be the only guy that's gonna be bringing up first year player draft guys. So I'm gonna talk about someone that's first year player draft this year, and it's Ivan Melendez. He was drafted, this year or last year, 2022, by the Arizona Diamondbacks. This guy's got huge power upside. He had a huge 2022 season for Texas, University of Texas. He hit 32 home runs in 2022. He only appeared in 2 seasons for Texas, but both seasons he had an OPS above 1,000. He, after being drafted, he did have a small sample in the minors. He only hit 3 home runs in 29 games. But again, that's, you're talking about a guy that, normally only plays in 60, 70 games, I think, for college, and then has to then get put into the minor leagues too. There's a little bit of adjustment there. So it's good to see that he did have some power again in 2023 or 2022. I feel like the average was there in college, so I'm not ruling out that he's going to be only power. I think with some more seasoning, maybe at low A, double A this year, I would like, someone to keep an eye on. I think because the power will be there. I think the 32 home runs last year, that's basically what, Chris Bryant was doing at San Diego State. So those are like top tier power numbers for NCAA. Yeah. 32 home runs, and I think they played like 60 games. So
yeah, I have
The home run rate is
two
great.
questions for you.
Yeah.
Do you know his nickname?
I don't, but I'd love to know it.
The Hispanic Titanic.
Oh my God. I mean, that's amazing. Is this a WWE man or a first baseman?
Right. Also, my only thing is he's 23.
Yep.
That's like trajectory wise, he comes up by like 26. Maybe.
Yeah.
It's
I
just
mean,
like,
if he has a good 2023, I think you could definitely get a roster invite to spring training in 2024.
yeah.
Depending on what he does. I mean, he's 2 years removed from college, so
Yeah.
I mean, 2 years in college. So that's that's the
Why is he so old?
he may have went to JUCO too. I'd have to look at his
Okay. That would make sense. And like,
He may
I
have
don't
went
make it sound
JUCO
like
and then
23 years old. But
well, I mean, Triston Casas was 23 and he just made his MLB debut last year. So
yeah,
I guess it's all how you look at it.
yeah. I mean, that could be a good guy to just monitor because people will see the age. Just like because Fantrax is so great, you see the ages of players right when you look at them. And someone that just rosters a random guy might be like, oh, he's 24 and not in the big leagues yet. Like, you might be able to get him for cheaper just because he's older.
Yeah. Yeah. Again, like he was obviously first year player draft this year. So
yes,
either he was just drafted or he's about to be drafted in your fantasy league, your dynasty league. So something to keep in mind. Definitely keep an eye on him for 2023, and we'll see where he goes from there. If he can hit for power and average, he'll definitely be pushed. Arizona's not like Arizona's got some big stopgap of Christian Walker at first base. So
yeah, at least he hits home runs too. So it's kind of a easy switch. I mean, he's better than Pavin Smith, right?
Exactly, it's got to be.
We all got burned by Pavin Smith.
I know. And I feel like I get burned by a lot of. Well, I feel like I get burned by a lot of Arizona prospects.
Also, who was the Seattle first baseman? Evan White. He was supposed to be like a platinum glove first baseman. And like now he's like, I don't even know.
Yeah, I feel like the first base prospect is a touchy one because again, sometimes these guys are just big, huge power guys and they can't ever get that quality contact to match the power.
Yeah. Even like, I mean, Andrew Vaughn's like a serviceable baseball player. He's good, but like his hype was so huge, and they're like, oh, he's just like a good ball player, which is fine.
Yeah,
but first
base is tough. Like I said, I think it's getting shallower and shallower as last few years have gone on. You got like your top heavy hitters. What's that?
Prado.
I know, another guy that's just kind of like fell by the wayside.
Italian breakfast just like stole his spot.
Yeah, I'm hoping and like you said, you got your juggernauts at the top, right? You got like your Alonso, your Vlad, those guys at the top. But then after those first like 4 or 5 guys, it just kind of falls off a cliff, man.
It's just depth.
Yeah, exactly. But I don't know. That's going to do it for the first base. I know next week we have, I guess we'll just go on to second base.
It's usually how it goes on the fourth day for me,
Yeah. Yeah. And like I said, I think Triston Casas, as of right now, is scheduled to be on the show. So
I'm going to make a rule for second base. No Mookie Betts.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, I don't know if does he even qualify for first base anymore or second base anymore?
In some leagues, yes. I don't know. It's silly.
All right. Well, yeah, no Mookie Betts then next week.
All right. See you, Jake.
Nick. See ya.